Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering woke Hallmark being replaced by the Great American Family channel. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. This is an amazing story. So this one executive, Bill Abbott, took a very viable business, the Hallmark channel, and expanded it into an absolute successful monster. Well accepted by the American public. They loved what he did at the Hallmark channel. It became a huge success. But for a culture that no longer considers success and decency to be top priorities, it wasn't enough. He had to step down in January of 2020 so they could put in a woke replacement for him. Wanya Lucas, making big changes at the Hallmark channel. She did make big changes. She made it diverse. She made it inclusive. And it's lost a lot of its success and its magic. People don't love it the way they used to love it. Thankfully, a little more than a year after he got involved with a billionaire backer, and they started their own Hallmark-style channel, saving the traditional content, cultivating the actors who used to love to work for the Hallmark channel, but no longer felt it reflected their views, no longer felt it did enough with promoting faith, and didn't honor traditional values. They joined Bill Abbott over at the Great American Family channel, which has now been a huge success. For Bill Abbott to take 1 year from stepping down from Hallmark and then turn around and make a competing project with all these stars following him over is a tremendous accomplishment. And as Hallmark shrinks and becomes less and less special, Great American Family can continue to grow. Here's what Bill Abbott actually did for Hallmark while he was there. Bill Abbott joined them in the year 2000 as its executive vice president of advertising sales. There, he led the national advertising sales operations for their networks, internet services, and digital network development, and oversaw offices in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Atlanta. In 2004, he oversaw the launch of the Hallmark Movie Channel, and during his tenure as Executive Vice President of Advertising Sales, the Hallmark Channel's annual advertising revenue increased from $10.2 million to $223 million. That's not even while he was CEO. That's just while he was in charge of advertising sales. Abbott then became CEO of their Hallmark channel in June 2009. In his first year, he made a deal with Martha Stewart to create a lifestyle block on the Hallmark channel that premiered March of 2010. The following year, Abbott launched Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas campaign, without question their biggest success so far, and in 2015 featured Mariah Carey in her directorial debut in A Christmas Melody with 17 new original movies. In 2012, he revived the daytime Emmy-nominated lifestyle program, The Home and Family Show, and also expanded the network's content to include primetime scripted series including Cedar Cove and When Calls the Heart. But in January of 2020, Abbott stepped down as CEO, a little more than a month after the network apologized for removing advertisements featuring same-sex couples that were actually restored to the channel a few days after they were removed. Why would he get in trouble for that? Because it made sense for the channel, but it didn't fit the woke agenda. Listen to the nonsense he was dealing with in 2019. Hallmark Channel struggles to give diversity a home for the holidays. Hallmark parent company boss talks with The Hollywood Reporter about how its 10-year-old Countdown to Christmas programming block largely ignores other faiths and inclusion. Literally, it's a countdown to Christmas. If I had a countdown to Hanukkah, how many Christmas movies would you think would be in that countdown? If we had a countdown to Kwanzaa, how many Christmas movies would you expect to see in a countdown to Kwanzaa? I hope 0 is your answer on both of those questions. Yes, Christmas is more than just Christmas. It's a holiday season. Of course, I get, what is it going to be, countdown to Ramadan? I get that we are a secular country, but it's Christmas. You can't go very far off brand and serve your customers. It doesn't matter what business you're in. People have a certain expectation. You don't go into a pizza place and expect them to have Chinese food, even though that would be diverse. That's what they were trying to force him to do. And ultimately, because it didn't make business sense, they had to get rid of them and put Wanya in there so she could go make these changes, supposedly benefiting the company. But of course, it doesn't benefit the company and it doesn't benefit the audience. Beyond that, just to look at what was happening in reality, the network had 24 original holiday movies in 2019. 4 of those movies had black leads, according to Bill Abbott. Well, he's not making it up. Yes, they had 4 black leads. The year prior, in 2018, 5 of their 21 movies had black leads. Well, okay, so what's the difference? But he was attacked. Quote, I think that generalization isn't fair either, that we have just Christmas with white leads. Well, it's not fair because it's not true. And he said that when asked about Hallmark's polarization on attracting a broad audience versus creating content that reflects society. That does reflect society. Quote, in terms of broadening out the demographic, it's something that we're always thinking about, always considering, and we'll continue to make movies where the best scripts are delivered to us and what we think have the most potential. Yes, Christmas is a big thing. Yes, they can make Christmas movies, and they're not all amazing movies, but they have to meet what the customer expects. When a viewer watches one of their movies, it has to meet that minimum standard. It's not easy to have, 20, 30 new Christmas movies a year? Yes, of course, they're going to be similar, but they do also have to sort of be a little bit different. Their production budgets are limited. They're only about $2 million a movie. So even if you had an amazing script from Steven Spielberg, you couldn't afford to make the movie because he'd need a budget of $200 million probably to make that movie. You can't do a Christmas movie like that. They're dealing under very serious constraints. To me, it's offensive to see they have no respect for a guy who's done so much for the company and so much for the brand. The problem is the woke people don't like that he's done so much for the brand that it promotes traditional values. They don't want traditional values. They want to destroy and eliminate traditional values. That's why they wanted Wanya. And did Wanya come and do that? Of course she did. Here's what they say. Missing from Hallmark's festive roster? Any other religion in the title. That's especially interesting given that Hallmark last year announced that it would be producing 2 Hanukkah movies in 2019. Holiday Date and A Double Holiday. Double Holiday is a romance between a woman who's Jewish, while Holiday Date features a Jewish guy pretending to be Mr. Christmas. So what? So what are they trying to trick people who are not Jewish into watching their movies even though they have a Hanukkah theme? What's wrong with that? Fine, let them trick people. No, they had to run him out of the company. Fortunately, he's entrepreneurial and people can look at his history and realize this guy is a freaking gold mine. We'll put millions of dollars behind him. We'll put hundreds of millions of dollars behind him because he knows how to make money. And there are still people that value that. Bill Abbott said this, quote, it's hard if we start to slice up the pie, so to speak, and make movies based off specific holidays. So if we were to look at Kwanzaa, for example, or other religions and how they celebrate the holidays, it's a little bit more difficult because we don't look at Christmas from a religious point of view. It's more a seasonal celebration, he said. Once you start to slice it more finely within individual religions, it's a little bit tougher to necessarily tell that story in a way that doesn't involve religion. And we always want to stay clear of religion or controversy. Very respectful, but not good enough. Coming from Evie, the Hallmark Channel had been under scrutiny for years over a lack of diversity. But as we just read, they actually did have diversity. The channel's vice president of programming, George Solidis, told NBC that his company was very excited to promote their new line of programming, including projects featuring LGBT storylines, characters, and actors. But was all of this forced diversity really needed, or was it pushed by the C-suite executives who were under immense social pressure to renege on what gave the channel its unique niche? After all, wouldn't it be problematic for people to insist that BET, the Black Entertainment Television Network, put more white, Latino, or Asian leads in their programming? And why should a channel with an expressed religious background shift to generic holiday messaging for their programming about one of the Judeo-Christian tradition's most important holidays? Thanks to identity politics and the inevitable appeasement of the social justice crowd, the Hallmark Channel's formerly iconic Christmas movie kingdom appears to be fizzling out, and its former CEO and stars are leading this charge. It would be a Christmas miracle if there were some sort of revival for this type of programming that Hallmark once championed. Say hello to Great American Family, the channel launched by Bill Abbott following his departure from Hallmark. He's got all the stars from Hallmark, particularly Candace Cameron Bure and others. These are great people, and he did more for Candace than just give her acting work. She's the Chief Creative Officer for Great American Family. She is acting in films, and she's also producing on the projects. So the projects are going to be good. They're going to be everything that Hallmark used to be when it was at its best. The Great American Family Network has surprising viability. Actors and actresses from Hallmark's profitable lineup now have a place to go if they're looking to continue the line of work they've been successful with in the past. In an interview with Variety, Cameron Bure shared that her contract with Hallmark was already set to expire, and the move to Great American Family would provide her with new roles both on and off the camera. Known ubiquitously as the former face of the Hallmark Christmas movie, it would make sense that Cameron Bure would be recruited to build up the Great American Family Network with wholesome content. From Variety, Great American Family's TV rise, CEO Bill Abbott on Candace Cameron Bure backlash and why his network is for all people. So I did some research on this backlash they're talking about. Here's the backlash. Cameron Bure said Great American Family is going to be concentrating on content that focus on traditional marriage. So not that they're never going to do gay marriage, they never say never, but what they won't be doing is normalizing something to push some inclusivity agenda. What you see in public, they will consider. If they have scripts that support it, they will do it. Otherwise, no, they're going to be an alternative to Hallmark. They're not going to be Hallmark. Not what Hallmark is now. That was considered controversial. According to year-over-year data, Great American Family is up 150% in total viewers in 2023 compared to 2022, and the success can be credited to multiple factors, according to CEO Bill Abbott. Quote, one of the biggest parts of our growth has to be our talent and the fact that we have such recognizable stars in our stable of talent, and that they're relentless in promoting Great American Family. Variety says the network has seen immense growth. To what do you credit that success? Abbott responds, first and foremost, it was awareness and growing the brand. It doesn't happen overnight. And so it's taken a long time to just make people aware that we're even in business. It's also about being really consistent with our schedule, really focusing on the day-to-day. We're an advertiser-supported model, so we have to generate our revenue that way. That means we keep our content premiering on linear, meaning linear cable, TV channels, and then moving into streaming, where a lot of channels have gone the other way, focusing on streaming. We have a commitment to the linear model. Linear still has a long runway, and we're pleased with the results and the appetite. Then it's the family-friendly content. There was not a lot of it out there. The family-friendly piece of it is essential to our success. Candace Cameron Bure is absolutely key to Great American Family. Bill Abbott says, we are absolutely blown away by Candace's taste, judgment, and ability. Her overall knowledge is way beyond what our expectations were, and we always knew that she would contribute to what we were doing in many ways, but never at the level that she does. She works harder than any human being on the planet. She's watching content. She's reading scripts. She's weighing in on cast. And she has contacts, quite frankly, that some of us don't. Given her length of time in the business and her experience, she's been absolutely spectacular. She's better, arguably, for us, organizationally, behind the camera, than she even is in front of the camera, to give you an idea of how good she is. She's really special, and not many people can be in front of the screen and function in that role and do it in a very honest, genuine way that is really just well-intentioned and for the team. So as companies like Disney with their Marvel brand and their Lucasfilm Star Wars brands decide to destroy themselves and turn themselves over to promoting a woke agenda instead of producing good traditional stories and content, companies like Great American Family and other competitors will produce good traditional content that satisfy customers and essentially ignore the woke diversity and inclusion agenda. There will be no focus on normalizing things that are not normal just to push someone's political agenda. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.